good, everybody? You know what it is. You know what time it is. Go ahead and turn the volume up loud. This is Blazing Takes. I'm on the road. Of course, I'm in these streets. I'm Rick Blazing. Of course, I'm with one and only Siege. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Made it to hump day. We're ready for the rest of the week, and we got some stuff to talk about as we come towards the closing time of the off season, and every day we're moving
Mm-hmm.
closer to that tip off that we've been waiting for. So let's get right into it. First thing I wanted to kind of chat about was Southeast Select. 2 years in a row, made it to the finals, lost.
Mm-hmm.
They built a nice little roster, but let's talk about the getting to the finals first, and let's talk about are they becoming somewhat of a kind of a Buffalo Bills of SimWorld Prep. They make it there, but they just can't seem to win. And now they've lost Trey Turner. So the second part of that question is, one, are they the Bill? Is there something to be worried about that they can't kind of win once they get there? And two is, are they quietly building a roster to contend a third year in a row?
No, I just answer that really quickly. I'm not. I think their roster's okay. I'm not impressed really. I haven't really said much because Coach Lee has earned the right for me to shut the f up because he's been to the
That's
championship
fair.
game twice.
That's
He's
fair.
she's been to the championship game twice. So when you've been to the big show, to the big dance twice, uh, then who am I to say something about that? But I think the last season was his last dance. I think this we saw the last dance. I don't see his team. I don't predict his team going and making it for the third time. So I'm going to say no, they're not the Buffalo Bills because they know they're not going to be at the last dance one more time. I don't think they make it this time.
Well, so in that case, you're saying their window is kind of closed. Trey Turner was their window. He's gone. That window is closed. So maybe not with the same sample size, but in that sense, they kind of are. They made it twice in a row, didn't get it, and now their window's kind of closed. So, I mean, in that sense,
Yeah,
you could
and, yeah,
call them Buffalo Bills. Um,
yeah. In that sense, yeah.
but respectfully, and I made this take way early on before they even had a recruit. I think we're going to see them back in at least the semifinals this year. And now I've seen the recruits they've poured in, and I'm going to stick with that one. I think one, Gabe Pope takes a jump. Do I think he's going to be Trey Turner level? Likely not. I don't want to put down my man Gabe, but Trey Turner's a special talent. That is not
Right.
someone that off-season work is just going to get you to the level that Trey Turner was at. Now, leadership-wise and versatility-wise, Gabe can do a lot of things, but it's going to take somebody else kind of stepping up or a few guys stepping up to help fill in Trey's production, whether that's Gabe's cousin and Olvin. Jeremiah Dishman was a great addition. Dexter Jackson, even Coco Bryce, who was one of the only returners from the team. They're all guys who, if they can each chip in a little, maybe they can fill that production. But I'm also thinking it's the system they've got going. It's the consistent defense, and I was a little bit worried. They lost Manasseh Warnick. He left SimWorld Prep altogether. But very quickly they came back and committed Breck Backer. 7 foot, so they've still got a trio of huge guys, two 6'10" guys in Baldridge and Stack, and added this 7-footer in Backer, and I think they're going to be fine. I think Coach Lee's going to figure it out, and he is a quiet guy, and I think you're right. He's earned the right for everyone to kind of just not give him any kind of shake
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Hey.
he'll figure it out.
Uh,
So I'm going to disagree. I think we're going to see them at least in the semifinals. I won't be surprised if they make it to the finals again, but if they can't win again this year, say they do make it to the finals, and I'm right, and they can't win, I don't really know where you go from there. I don't know
well, if
where
they
you go
make
from
it to
there.
the finals, if they make it to the finals, I'm buying the whole team Frosty. Frosty's on me for the whole entire team. I don't see them making it back. But yeah. But
All right,
hey,
Simworld, you
again,
heard that? Clip that. Rick's buying
Frosty,
Southeast Select Frosties.
Frosties. I'm buying Frosties for all the softies select team.
Yep.
Um, I'm not questioning Coach Lee. That's why I haven't really been saying anything about Southeast Select because he's earned the right for me to shut the f up. But I just think his team is okay. That's just my personal opinion.
That's valid. And I don't, and I can't even really explain to you, Rick, what I see doing that for me, other than the system and Gabe Pope's leadership. But again, as good as Gabe Pope, I think will make a jump this year. It's not enough for me to be like he'll be a top 10 player in the league. I don't think he's going to be there. I love you, Gabe, but I'm going to be real with you. I think you'll be a top 5 leader in the league. but talent, probably not. Probably not. So it'll be interesting to see. I think they're going to be a fun team to watch and see how they get over. We've got a few teams that it's going to be fun to see how they get over a superstar of that level, and they're one of them. So it's interesting for me. But speaking of teams coming out on top and who's who, let's talk about, we got the new regions this season. Were announced a while back. The Founders, the Neo, the Southern, and the Intercontinental. So I want to talk about our picks. Way too early picks. Way too early picks.
Sure. Way too early.
For who comes out on top of the regular season in each of those regions. I'm just talking regular season. Who has the best record at the end of the regular season for each region?
All right, so let me break this down. I'm going to go kind of quickly with mine. I'm going to start off first in the hold on, let me make sure I pull it up. Start off first in the Founders region. I don't think Beast League is going to be first. Basically because I don't think the coach cares about that.
No.
I think Coach Drayton does a lot of tweaking with his lineup through the course of a year. And when you're doing tweaks like that, you're bound to lose 2 or 3 or 4 games you probably should win. So I don't think they're going to win the division. I think it's actually going to come between the Originators and, surprise, Philadelphia Elite. I think Philadelphia Elite makes a big leap this season.
So who's your pick, Rick?
I'm going to go with Originators.
All right. Yeah, that's super fair take.
I'm going to go with Originators. But I wanted to point out how great I think Philadelphia is going to beat this year. Yep. But I'm going to pick Originators. Over in the go ahead. You pick yours. What's yours?
For me and the Founders, and it's interesting that you brought up Philadelphia because I think the same thing about Beast of the East. Is it going to surprise me if they make a run in the race to 1? No. But do I think they're going to have the best record in the regular season? Like you said, no, I don't. I'm actually, I think it's interesting you named them because I'm going to take Philadelphia Elite.
That's not bad.
I think as good as that front court the Originators have now with Cooper Flagg and Victorious Ilgauskas is, the only team in that region who I think has the front court to stop and contend with them is Philadelphia with Monte Parson and Jermaine Owens. And then we've been talking about that front court all offseason. Nas Hall is not getting talked about. We're talking about a top 5 scorer, potentially a top 5 player in our league this year. And he's really not getting talked about enough. So you still got him. You got one of the best perimeter defenders, Orland Mock. I think Philadelphia Elite finds a way to take it.
Philadelphia is a good choice. I don't have any knock on Philadelphia again. I think they're going to come just short. What am I going to be surprised if they win it all? I mean, if they win their division, absolutely not. They have the talent. They have the coach. So I can't knock that at all.
All right, let's move to the Neo region, Rick.
Neo region. I think it's going to come down to the 2 brothers, the 2 Popes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I think Dre Pope owns Isaiah Pope, so I'm going to give Bay Area Breakers the best team in that region.
All right, I can't argue too much with Bay Area. I'm actually going to go with, this is one of my hotter picks. Rocky Mountain was sitting there for me, and I really thought they to me were a good pick, but I'm actually going to go with Heartland. I think Heartland and Heartland Zombie Stars, and hear me out. Rick. I know. We don't do safe takes here, so hear me out. We just talked about Beasts of the East. We don't think they're really going to care about the regular season. They're not going to care about all of that, and everyone makes the race to 1 this year is what the format is. So a lot of teams, they still want to win. You want to win, get that seeding, all that, and have the bragging rights. But when you got a guy like Benari James and Coach Lovelace, they are not going to think about the future when they're playing a game. They are going to think, we're going to win this game. And that coupled with the arena and the fans that Heartland has with the Riot House, every game they play is a big game for them. Benari's got a chip on his shoulder. Lovelace has a chip on his shoulder. Heartland as an organization has a chip on their shoulder. So I think, and here's my one caveat, if they can keep out of trouble, keep out of the media, because they've got a slew of guys who I think could end up in headlines. If Coach Lovelace and Benari as a leader can come together and keep their team out of trouble, they are my hottest pick of these 4 regions to actually have the best record coming out of the regular season.
Wow, that's not a hot take. That is a wow take. But hey,
I'll call that a BLAZIN take. I'll call that a BLAZIN take. Do a little plug right here.
1,000%. Jeez. Okay, I have no comment for that.
All right,
I'm
so
sure
to
all of them be glad to hear
the southern region. Let's hit the southern region.
that. Okay. Um, I think that's really going to be I think the Southern region is really and truly going to be a dogfight. I think they're going to beat each other up all year long. But I think it's going to come down to coaching. To be honest, there's some really good teams. The Gulf Coast has a good group of players. H Town, Lone Star, Queen City, Southeast. Southeast Select. The coaching is going to carry them. I think it's going to come down to coaching, and I'm going to give the edge to the Zen Master. So I got H Town winning this thing out in
Okay.
the Southern region.
All right. I was similar to you. I was kind of bouncing back and forth between a couple of teams. Yacht Club has a loaded roster, but I think similar to Beast of the East, Coach Lasser is going to have to spend a bit of the season figuring out what the rotation looks like and whose role is whose and all that. So I think they
Right.
drop a couple games they could have won otherwise. So your Yacht Club was out of it for me. Queen City Kings was an interesting one because similar to Heartland, I think they're going to be a very every game matters. They're going to play 110% every game. Great coaching, new roster. So, but really, I don't think they're also going to have to figure out how to play with each other. So it came down to me, Lone Star and Southeast Select. Lone Star just got Arthur Lattimore. They look really good, and Southeast Select coaching carries, and I went with Southeast Select. I think because they have that system to fall back on, Gabe Pope is a leader, and a lot of new guys, and I think that's good actually. A lot of new guys, not just guys who came from other teams, but they have a lot of new guys who are new to SimWorld Prep, and I think that's perfect when you have Gabe Pope taking over as the leader for that team, and instilling that system in a bunch of guys who are new and don't have a name to themselves yet, because they are going to want to listen and make a name and all that, and so I think because of that. That's the best situation for Southeast Select is not to go get a bunch of guys who left one team to come over and instead got new guys. So for that reason, I am going to take Southeast Select. I think it's a very small margin, but that's my pick for that one.
Okay. Hey man, I appreciate you doubling down on the Southeast Select stuff. So hey man, you consistent. Hey, I'm cool with that. Yeah, do your thing.
And lastly, Rick, let's go worldwide. Let's go the intercontinental region. Who do you got?
Super easy for me. The motherland is back on the map. Africa for sure. They got the
Interesting.
depth from one. They got the depth from 1 to 10 now, and
Okay.
they went ahead and they addressed some of their biggest issues, namely shooting. And then when they got some shooters, Ethan Letterman and company. So for me, I think Africa's back on the map. I got them number one. I think they're going to beat a lot of good teams this year. So I definitely have them finish the top of the continental region.
I considered SimWorld Africa, but I ended up actually putting them at finishing in about third for me.
You
My
saying there's
second,
two other teams
I think
better
there's two,
than?
and I think you could argue three because Asia Pacific's gonna be back and strong now. They lost some guys, but my thing with them, the reason I didn't put them at two, they're behind Africa for me. And I think the reason was Song Chung Ju just committed there, and he's a guy you want to use, but we don't know what games he's gonna be able to play in, and so that's gonna be a lot of figuring out rotations for different games and taking them out of their flow. So they're not going to be as good, I think, as they were last year. Atlantis was there, but not in the top two for me. They got some good recruits. But my number two team was actually SimWorld Oceania. I think that Damian Luffy commit was actually huge for them. I think he is going to be a superstar.
He is.
He is going to be a
But he will
superstar.
be.
And do I think he's going to take them far in the race to one? I don't really know, or I don't really think so. He's young and whatever, and I don't know how much of a leader he is. He might be a great leader, but I don't know. But he's incredibly talented. He's arguably the most talented player on any international roster. In fact, I'm not just going to say it's arguably. For me, he is. So for that reason, I have them winning a lot of regular season games. But number one for me is SimWorld Europe, and I'll tell you why. This Ivanov Andrew guy they got, 7'2", big man, looked really good in every open run he was in the Basketball Without Borders Europe. The Russian, the purebred, he looks amazing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then the 1-2 punch with him and recent commit Zoe Dorn, who is a thorn in your side on defense, great facilitator, just kind of plays scrappy, can score the ball a little bit. I think that's going to be a great 1-2 punch. And you pair them with the rest of their roster, and I think SimWorld Europe makes a run for it. I think they make a run for it.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Well, all right. Hey,
There we go, Rick.
it's early.
This one was
It's,
refreshing. We agreed too much yesterday. We got some different takes today.
it's yeah, exactly. And it's early. Again, it's way too early.
It's
Things fly.
way too early. We'll probably
Way,
do
way,
this
way
again at
too.
least once or twice before tip off. So
I think I'm still gonna be correct, but it's still way too early. Early as a caveat. So before we got here, we got to do a pick and roll segment, and I'll pick a topic. My man Siege has to roll with it. Here we go. Going to the gym. What is your least favorite exercise to do?
least favorite. Now, see, it's an interesting question because my very least favorite are probably exercises I just choose not to do and find alternatives for. But my least favorite that I do because I know it's good for me and I need to, really, I'm just going to go with the broad answer here. Anything that I have to get on the floor to do, which is a lot of like core workouts that I do, you know, I got to get on the floor and like do crunches, whatever it is. Anything that I have to like lay down on the ground or like get on the ground to do, I just like it almost takes me out of my rhythm. Because if I can stand up, go from one weight machine to another, pick up some free weights, whatever, I'm bouncing, I'm in a rhythm. As soon as I go down though, I don't want to get back up. So for me, it's anything that I have to get on the ground for, whether that's crunches, curls, whatever you want to call them, whatever it may be. Even push-ups. I don't dislike push-ups as much, but anything I got to go down for, it's not my thing.
You sound like you almost just said no to everything.
No, baby, you can do a lot of stuff standing up, and that's what I aim for.
Yeah. This is true. So here's the one that I don't like it, but I love it. I hate doing it, but I love it. And that's leg day. I hate leg day. You walk around like spaghetti strings the next day. You can't hardly walk. You look like the scarecrow, the Wizard of Oz. But when you get your legs right, man, it's nothing like having them nice little quads. And I went and got tattoos on my legs just so I can show it off.
Yep.
So I look forward to wearing my hoochie daddy shorts, too short shorts for leg day. I hate leg day, but I love it.
I can get behind that one. I can get behind that one.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the thread. Tell me what you think about it, guys. Let's discuss. And what you think about favorite, least favorite. Who you think is going to win the region? Who you have? Who you don't have? Who's going to pull it out? Who's not going to pull it out? Give us your opinions. Am I right? Is Siege right? Are we both wrong? We want to hear about it, man. Tell us what you think. Tell us how you feel. It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. We got the #1 show here in SimWorld. We will see y'all on tomorrow. Peace.